It is time for the world to know my name.
Really? Is it really that funny to you? You're acting like you wasn't even there.
It's hilarious. And I forgot about it.
Yeah, I know too, but that's why I'm doing it right now. Anyways, yo, what's going on everybody? Urban Shadows on the mic, what it do? I'm coming at you guys with this video. A little story I want to tell from my real life experience back to when I was just a young boy. So alright, this pretty much happened back when I was in 7th grade, I'd say. Yeah, middle school. 7th grade middle school, I'll never forget it now. Like I said, I just remembered about this and I just wanted to make this video about it. But like I said, 7th grade middle school, this happened. So I'm sitting there in class, chilling. This was actually my science class. I had, for when you're in middle school, like where I'm at, I don't know if they still have it in every other school, but like in my school back in middle school and high school, they do it too. You have different periods and stuff like that. So, you got like, first period you go to this class, second period you go to this class, whatever. So I'm in science class, like I said. And me and my friends, it was like kind of like a group of us that we were like really cool back then. It was like 4 of us. It was me, my other boy, and then 2 more of my boys. We were all in the class or whatever. Like we was mad cool. So we're sitting there. We had just took a test. I think it was the day before, or maybe it was that same day. I don't remember. That I don't remember. But like I said, we took a test. I know that. And we're sitting there. And the teacher, we had 2 teachers in my science class. It was my one teacher. I'm just going to say her name was Miss M. The other teacher I'm going to say was Miss F. Just for, purposes of keeping, things confidential. Not I mean, but whatever. So like I said, we're sitting there. Miss M is teaching the class. And then Miss F is going through the scores and stuff like that, whatever. And I don't remember exactly in what context it was. Like I said, it was it was kind of funny because, like I said, we were all sitting there, and I don't remember if I had raised. I think with the one teacher, Miss F, asked everybody a question, and we got to raise our hands to answer it or whatever. And I had raised my hand, and a couple other people raised my hands. And usually I never really raised my hand, but especially back then in school, I never really raised my hand to answer a question because I'm like, whatever. I was one of those kids that really hated school back in the day. And even looking at it now, I still do, but whatever. So like I said, I was like, I know this answer. What are you talking about? Like, this is easy answer right here. So I raised my hand, and the teacher, Miss F, she calls on somebody else. So, like I said, this was a 7th grade middle school. I was probably about maybe 13. Now I don't really know the context. I mean, I knew what racism was and stuff like that, but you know what I mean? Like when you're young, you just kind of do stuff and you don't really, sometimes you might not mean it or you might not get the context of them sometimes. And like I said, I know what racism is, but I guess it's one of those things like, when you're young, you might hear it off the TV or like a show you might watch or something like that. And like I said, this might have been from Dave Chappelle or something I might have watched or whatever, but it just clicked in my head to say it, so I was like, she clicked on this other girl in the class when I had my hand raised, and I'm just like, I was like, you didn't call me racist. Like, so I just called the racist, but I said it kind of loud, and it was like, where I was sitting wasn't too far from where she was in front of the classroom. And I said it, and then, it got kind of quiet in the class, and then she was like, oh, excuse me, what did you say? And I'm like, huh? And I don't remember if I replied or not. Like I said, we're going back a little bit. Like I said, I mean, I'm still young, but, I'm not as young as I was, obviously, back when I made, this decision to call my teacher racist or whatever. So she was like, oh, no, what did you say? And I was just like, I don't remember if it went exactly like that, but I was like, oh, she did hear me. She knew what I said. So she got really upset and whatnot. I didn't really take it anything like it wasn't serious or whatever, because like I said, it's it's one of those things like I knew what it was, but I didn't take it as seriously. I just kind of said it as a joke or whatever, but obviously she didn't take it as a joke. So she was really upset and everything. So I was like, all right, whatever. So my boys were laughing and whatnot, kind of, and then we just the period ended and we left. Everybody left the class and all this stuff. So I was like, all right, I mean, to me, it was funny. Like I said, so I'm just like, whatever. I go to my next class. You know, the day actually goes on for, you know, a couple more periods. I think there was like maybe two more periods left in the day until we were like let loose from school. 2 or 3 more periods left. So we're chilling, and I don't remember what class I was in at this point. That I don't remember. So I was in whatever, like I said, one of the last classes of the day, sitting there. And also in middle school, here's the thing too. I wasn't the best. How do you put it? I wasn't the. I was kind of like a jokester in a way. Like it was kind of like this one crowd of kids I was with, and we would always like pull pranks to do stuff and whatnot. So I wasn't good, but I wasn't bad. I mean, like I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good either. Like I would get into a little bit of mischief, but I was like one of those kids that you would just never really see. Like I was like mischievous with, like you would never catch me with it. But like I said, this was just this one rare occurrence, I guess, that it just kind of blew out of proportion. So like I said, we're chilling in this, like I said, one of the last periods of the class and all this stuff of the day, and on the loudspeaker, you know, like I mean, I don't know, like if they do that in schools now. I'm pretty sure they do still. But like I said, you know, they would make an announcement or whatever. So, you know, the bell rung. You know, whenever like there was an announcement that was gonna happen, the bell would ring, and then whoever's on the loudspeaker throughout the whole school would be, you know, they would say something and they'd be heard throughout the whole school or whatever. So that happens, and it ends up being the principal, and he's all like, oh, you know, what you call it, you know, come down to my office now, you know what I mean? Urban, come down to my office now. So, so I'm sitting there like, oh shoot. At this point too, like I said, I forgot about it for a second, but I remembered as soon as he said my name over the loudspeaker, and I'm just like, oh shoot. So I'm like, and this was, like I said, this honestly was probably the first time I've ever got called by the principal into the office by him or whatever. So like I said, this was kind of huge, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, like a lot of my friends and stuff, they were like, oh shoot, he getting called down to the office or what's going on? Like he never gets called down. And like I said, I never ever got called down to, especially by the principal himself. So I'm like, but like I said, I already knew what it was, so I'm just like, oh whatever, all right. So, you know, I scoop up my stuff or whatever, because I think the class was about to end, so I just scoop up whatever, you know, I had or whatever, and then just, like, walk out, because, you know, by the time I would get back, probably, you know, the class would be over, so we'd just go to our next class. So, I leave, you know, and I walk down, and I end up into the office or whatnot, and I go to the principal's office, and, you know, so we're sitting there, I walk in, he's all like, oh, so this, that, and this, yeah, I heard you had like an incident with, you know, Miss F or whatever and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, well, yeah. So I kind of explained to him, like the same way I was explaining to you guys, you know, it's like I didn't really mean it. It was just something I just kind of it just rolled off my tongue. You know what I mean? I didn't even, you know, I didn't really mean nothing. But like I said, I knew what it, like I said, I know what it means, but I don't know I don't know if you guys get what I mean. Like, it's just one of those things, like, as a kid, you might just say, but you don't mean it, even though you might know what it means or whatever. I don't know. So, by all means, like I said, she wasn't racist at all, like I said, but, you know, it was just, it was just something that just clicked in my head to say at the time. Like I said, young cat, you know, 12 years old, you know, so whatever. So, he's just like, yeah, so, you know, yeah, you know, that kind of upset her, stuff like that. So, you know, I would just, you know, he said, you've been to this school, you know, all this time, and I've never, like, you know, had you come down to this office or whatever. So you've been here all this time, and you've never gotten in trouble. So, you know, I'll let this slide. So that's what he says, the principal, to me. So I'm like, all right, yeah. He's like, you know, you got to apologize to her because she was upset about it. So I'm like, all right, you know. So, like I said, me saying that to her, you know, young black kids, you know, to a you know, white teacher, you know, I guess, like I said, that could kind of seem like it would be upsetting, especially if you're not actually a racist, but whatever. So, you know, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll apologize. So, you know, she came in and she was just like, you know, yeah, she explained how she was upset about it. You know, it's like, you know, I hope you didn't really mean it. And I explained to her, you know, I didn't really mean, I just said it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I really just said it. So, yeah, she was like, oh, well, you know, it's all right. You know, just, you know, try it. You know, don't just go saying stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I apologize, stuff like that. Like I said, I was a good kid, but, you know, I had a little mean streak in me back in middle school. Like I was just mischievous, like I said, to certain things. Like there was other things I would do too, but that's another video entirely. Maybe I might do. Who knows? But like I said, so I apologize to her. She accepts it. You know what I mean? And then I end up just going back to my class and stuff like that. You know, everybody's like, oh, what happened? And I'm like, you know, I explained to some of the people what happened. I had explained to some other friends of mine too what happened that day too. But you know, that was it. That was pretty much the end of that. What happened? You know, so I apologized to her. She forgave me, and I never called the teacher racist again. Now the moral of the story is, shoot, don't call a teacher racist. I mean, even if they are racist. Just don't do it. Just leave it alone. Like I said, there's other ways of handling that. But like I said, you know, shout out to her for kind of, you know, being able to forgive me about that, and then, you know, about the principal letting that slide or whatever too, because, you know, young kid like me at the time, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was saying. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much how that went. But like I said, you know what I mean? You guys in school now, that just, you know, go there day in, day out, just keep your head down, you know what I mean? Do what you gotta do and be out of there. So that's pretty much it. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Urban Shadows and Umbra. Hope you enjoyed that too, man. You sitting here clowning me, you like you wasn't there.
Good times.
Whatever. Anyways, like I said, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, subscribe if you're new. More content coming at you guys as always. I'm out. Peace.